Well, if I can pick up on this, I'm going to stop because I'm sitting here and I'm can hardly move or anything. So I'm just going to say that the doctor, this goes with the tape. I guess this is 4 or 5, I don't know. It's going to be my last one on this. What would you do? Uh, I was talking about my kidnapping, my real name, and the fact of how I've been tortured, and about writing about mind control murders done in patterns. The day before the antifreeze was put in me, April the 1st of 80, and let me preface this by saying that I had written a book on mind control, 77, 78, and Larry Flint, Hustler Magazine, had been shot in Lawrenceville in March the 6th of 78, and the man had been programmed to shoot him and kill his attorney in Lawrenceville, which is about 40 miles from Marietta, where I was doing the book, and I was later flown out to his home and during a campaign, and I just wanted to show that again. People seem to tune into that more than okay, and I showed the picture. I know this is upside down, excuse me. Um, those are my sons, Mark and Scott, the legal heirs. That's me. They're old pictures. It's unbelievable what's been done to us in plain sight. I love my children. My mother and father love me. Thanks to my country, and I'm talking about the citizens through the years that could have forgotten me, and I don't think they have as of yet. And some Germans, some family in Germany and Germans, and some Americans. By a whole, the Americans have lived good. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. They don't care who paid for it. I didn't get a piece of the pie. Let me clue you. So I'm going to leave it at that part, but I'm going to go back to the doctor that called me. And it was that night that the antifreeze was put in me, and I should have died. That was a walk and live in hell in itself. He called me, and he was talking to me about asked me what I knew about one of the murders that happened at Piedmont Hospital. And I better not go any further. I'll tell his identity there. It wasn't Larry Flint, excuse me, Larry McDonald, the doctor congressman I wrote about, and then ended up in the campaign to replace him when the Korean jet he was a passenger on went down. It was shot down by the Soviet jet August the 31st of 83. So follow me on that. And then the fact that Governor of Alabama, George Wallace, was shot in Laurel, Maryland, and the woman that killed her twins, Peggy and Carl, and I was kidnapped and taken there in 41, was taken there, kidnapped, and I was born in 39. But I was taken there and given the name of her twins when she had killed them. I was given the name of Peggy and grew up being told that I was Peggy Dempsey, the twin. I can't get my identity back. It's been stolen, and this woman is living in my home, and I've had none. Should I say homes? Anyway, I guess I'll lose you. You should try this. I'm not sitting here with someone doing my hair, or in other words, it's the total opposite, or writing speeches for me or anything. But I think I was talking about the doctor, and I wouldn't mention Piedmont Hospital. I already have. He probably wouldn't mind anyway if I said his name. I don't think he's there anymore either. But I trusted him, and he called me, and he asked me about the one of the cases I wrote about, the murders that happened at Piedmont Hospital. And that's where Larry McDonald's family owned the hospital, or ran it anyway, in Atlanta. He was the congressman doctor. The name of the woman was Jean Srokeman that was shot, that he was asking what I knew about it. and I had written about it as one of the cases, and I'm trying to think of the doctor's name. It wasn't Hartley, Doctor. It started with an H. Hartman, Hardiman. Okay, Hardiman. She was gunned down and Christmas Eve and blown up against the wall in Piedmont Hospital where she worked for a well, I believe, yeah, Hardiman was a psychiatrist. She was suing another psychiatrist, and she's working for a psychiatrist. Oh God, I could have told the police. Anyway, she had gone to someone who was really a friend of mine, Dr. Jonas Robercher, who was head of law and psychiatry at Emory University, and he'd written very many books. And by the way, one of his books was the last one was The Power of Psychiatry, and he had listed 10 of my cases in the back of that book, last chapter, and is I don't know how he did that. I didn't know he knew about my book. But anyway, Jean Srokerman, the lady that got blown apart, I just mentioned, she went to him, and he is one of the few really decent men. I mean, really. But then he died. Might as well say it. He was murdered. Um, yeah, he was. After then. So anyway, he referred Gene Srokerman to Eugene Kaiser, who was a former Fulton County, Atlanta district attorney. He was my attorney. And when I was over there one day, Gene Kaiser handed me Gene Srokerman's, what he had left of her file. And let me go back in case I've missed this. Robercher, who was head of law and psychiatry out at Emory, had referred Gene Srokerman to Eugene Kaiser, my attorney. And she's dead, been shot Christmas Eve at Piedmont Hospital. Okay, he goes and he pulls out a deposition, copies it, and he said the Atlanta police had come in, and this is a former Fulton County DA in private practice. He said they come and took all my file except this. He said it was illegal, they never brought it back. But, so he gave me a copy of the deposition, Gene Srokerman's deposition, and I wrote about her, and that connected her to Hardiman. And when I read the name of the doctor she worked for and the psychiatrist, I was dumbfounded because they would have been in it together. That was what was so sickening. Anyway, you go from there. I had written about at Piedmont Hospital the murders of Warren and Rosina Matthews. They were forensic pathologists, and they knew how deaths were made to appear of natural cause. So I started writing about them, and Billy Jack was the name of one of the guys that shot her and her husband out in Terrell Mill Estates in Marietta, and made it look almost like a Manson murder or something. But anyway, Buddy Darden, who later ran in the campaign to replace Larry McDonald, Dr. Congressman, Buddy Darden was one that prosecuted Billy Jack for the murder of Warren and Rosina Matthews. Well, there were a gang of them. But they were under mind control. And there's more to the Billy Jack, the name, and all this that can prove the mess. But the woman that was prosecuted with them was under mind control or hypnosis. And supposed to be, they were found guilty and supposed to be retried by Tom Sharon, the district attorney who became DA after Buddy Darden. And I was in his office, 78, and anyway, I'm jumping around there. I suppose I'll go back to the doctor that called me and asked me the day before they put the antifreeze in me what I knew about the murder of Gene Srokerman and Dr. Hardiman. And his words to me were, people will help you as long as they're not afraid of repercussion. And he went on to elaborate a little bit, but anybody can put that together. People will give to United Way. They'll go down and give to the homeless or like local